War criminal and participant in the military aggression against Ukraine, Igor Strelkov Girkin has no doubt that Russian dictator Vladimir Putin will share the fate of former Serbian and Yugoslav President Slobodan Milosevic, who stood trial in The Hague. He wrote about this on his Telegram channel, criticizing the Kremlin's agreement to a temporary energy truce proposed by Donald Trump. Girkin stated that, in his opinion, the Russian leadership is trying to make behind-the-scenes deals. He pointed to the heavy losses suffered by Russian troops and expressed his dissatisfaction that the Kremlin, in his view, is making concessions to the US, which continues to arm Ukraine. The militant further speculated and pondered upon what the Russian leadership is actually counting on for their strategy.
To be honest, I don't quite understand what our leadership is counting on. On forgiveness? That won't happen. On reconciliation? That won't happen either. It will all end like it did with Milosevic. Now this is absolutely clear.
In Girkin's opinion, Ukraine is simply playing for time, counting on winning the war by attrition. Slobodan Milosevic became the first sitting head of state to appear before the International Criminal Tribunal. He was charged with a total of 66 criminal counts, which included genocide, crimes against humanity, and war crimes committed throughout the wars in Croatia, Bosnia, and Kosovo in 1991 and 1999. The investigation claimed that under his leadership there were mass killings, forced deportations, and systematic persecution of the non-Serb population. The trial in The Hague was unprecedented. For the first time, the International Court was considering the case of a politician who had only recently led a country. Milosevic denied any guilt, claiming that he acted in the interests of Serbia. However, the case materials and witness testimonies indicated coordination of criminal actions and a policy of ethnic cleansing. In March 2006, Milosevic died in his prison cell in The Hague before the verdict was announced, and was therefore never formally convicted. Nevertheless, in later legal proceedings and tribunal rulings, his direct and significant involvement in joint criminal conspiracies aimed at the systematic and forcible expulsion of non-Serb populations from controlled territories was confirmed. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky announced the dates for the next round of trilateral negotiations. On his Telegram channel, the head of state reported that he had received a briefing from the Ukrainian negotiating team. According to Zelensky, the dates for the next meetings between Ukraine, Russia, and the United States have been set. The negotiations will take place on February 4th and 5th in Abu Dhabi.
Ukraine is ready for a comprehensive and substantive discussion, and we are deeply interested in ensuring that the outcome brings us closer to a truly real and dignified end to the war.
As is known, the new round of negotiations was originally scheduled for February 1st, but the meeting did not take place. Earlier, the head of state explained the postponement of the negotiations due to the situation involving the US and Iran. The first round of trilateral negotiations in Abu Dhabi took place on January 23rd and 24th. At that time, the parties noted progress on various issues. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky stated that real steps toward ending the war are currently being discussed in the negotiations.
The primary focus of the ongoing discussions is on the various potential parameters for ending the war. I deeply appreciate that there is a clear understanding of the vital need for American monitoring and oversight of the process of ending the war and ensuring genuine security.
The head of state also noted that the new composition of the Russian delegation, which was presented in Abu Dhabi, is significantly higher level than before. But despite all the discussions, the real outcome depends on the Russian dictator Vladimir Putin. The most difficult issue in the negotiations remains the territorial question.